Today I'll go over 3 steps that I'd do if I started over my multiple 6-figure Etsy store today. But to add some nuance to it, I'll also add in 3 bonuses to anyone who's facing specific issues with their Etsy store today. The bonuses are based on questions that I've received a lot from you guys, so let's get into it. Alright, so print on demand is a process where you put a design on a blank product. Then an image of your design on top of the blank product is then put on a marketplace like Etsy. We use the traffic that Etsy already has to garner sales, and then when we get some sales, we connect the order that we get on Etsy to a production partner on Printify. And then the print provider itself actually produces and ships it to the customer. And we as sellers don't incur any risk on inventory, which is super neat. All right, so step 1, setting expectations. So if we don't have a goal, we can't actually score. It's kind of like going on a boat and then setting out to destination. If we don't have a destination in mind, we will just steer into some random ocean. If we say that we want to go to Spain, then we might have to steer into more to the left or more to the right, depending on different conditions. But at the end of it all, the goal is still to get to Spain, so we will most likely get to Spain if we just persevere through the whole journey. So the most important thing here in the beginning is to set an aim and to set some expectations. Now, step 2, that's putting the ropes in. Since we now have the goal, for instance, if we take the boat analogy again, we want to go to Spain, we now need to actually work our way towards getting to our goal. On the Etsy aspect, that's basically not just consuming more information, that's actually just starting an Etsy store, getting some of our first designs up on the platform, see how it performs, see if it's going well or not, see what we can improve, add information about the shop in your store, make the policies and everything crystal clear in your store, just setting up the infrastructure for the store itself. But we gotta put the work in so we can actually achieve our goals. And the most important aspect is when we have set up the infrastructure and then we are actually getting going with just putting listings up and just getting familiar with the process, the most important aspect is to not just do, but it's always to also reflect. I usually use a quote from Ray Dalio, which is pain plus reflection equals progress. If we're putting stuff up on Etsy and it's not working, then it's a good thing, because then we actually know what's not working. So not having stuff working for us is a good thing, because then we're further along the journey to actually getting to the stuff that actually works. But when we know that stuff isn't working, we also got to reflect on how we can do things better. We always got to keep in mind that simple formula, which is pain plus reflection equals progress. So not just get stuck into doing, but also gotta reflect on the progress so far, so we know that we're actually making progress and not just doing the same thing over and over. But the most important part in that is that we gotta have the perspective of once we have like a couple hundred listings up, then we can take the time to reflect, because then we actually have put some ropes in, and then we can have some data on what to do better. And then step 3 is actually doubling down on what's working. So when we're actually finding something that works, in the beginning, it's really hard, because all we have to do is just find a design that actually works. There are steps to do that. I've explained that in different videos. I'll link that somewhere here for you guys. But once we have something that actually works, we have some product market fit, then it's time to double down on it. So if we have a design specifically that we can just change around a bit, then it's time to scale that out to different niches and test it out in different waters. So yeah, but in my experience, I've always noticed that some designs work better in specific niches and worse in other specific niches. So, but the most important part is to just keep testing to see which types of niches it's actually working in. But when we find a type of niche that actually works, then it's just time to double down on it and just go to more sub niches within those niches. So let's say, for instance, that we have found a design that works very well for nurses, then it's time to scale that out to all different types of nurses, and that's available. There's so many different. Then it's been my experience, at least, to just scaling it out to every sub niche within the broad niche. So there's lots of different sub niches within the nurse niche for a specific type of nurses. That's how we'd scale out a specific design that will then basically boost and elevate our whole shop, since we've doubled down on the thing that works, but scaled it out even further into every sub niche within the big niche that actually works. Hope that makes sense. Now, a bonus part. So I've received a lot of questions from you guys, and I've tried to just condense them into 3 different things. If we're stuck and we're not actually seeing that much progress, then it's time to actually diagnose the issue. So the whole process on Etsy is basically just 2 things. It's getting clicked in search, and then once they're in the listing, it's clicking purchase. That's the whole process. Those are the two things that we just need to do. So the most important part about this is that we can't actually diagnose anything unless we actually have some listings up in our store and we have some sales. We need to have at least 10 sales in order to get to this part. So I'd recommend, if you're stuck in the first part, then I recommend just putting the ropes in, putting more listings up, testing out different designs. But once we're actually at a stage where we have about 10 sales, then it's time to diagnose how we can better our listings. And that leads into the bonus number 2, which is we have having lots of views but no visits. This basically means that when the customer is viewing all the listings on their Etsy search, they're seeing your listing, but they're not clicking it and they're not interested in it, which basically means that you're showing up in the wrong search. So I usually always use this example, but that if you sell a flamingo shirt, for instance, and you have written bird shirt or animal shirt in the listing, if someone searches for animal shirts, then it's most likely not a flamingo shirt they want. Maybe like 1 out of 100, maybe, or 1 out of 1,000, but it's very unlikely that they'll buy something if they search for an animal shirt and you have a flamingo shirt up in that listing. However, if all of your SEO just say like flamingo shirt and it only has flamingo related keywords within the listing, when someone is actually searching for flamingo shirt and you sell a flamingo shirt, then the likelihood of them actually buying your shirt, if it's a design that they want, is much higher since you're showing up in the relevant searches. The other part to this is that if you actually have a relevant SEO that's really targeted towards only the thing that you sell, then it's actually the markup most likely that's not the best fit. So the markup that they see on Etsy is one of the main variables as to why they're even purchasing. And I do have a process for choosing markups as well. I'll just link that here as well. But making sure that you have a proven markup that actually works is one of the main variables to actually getting sales. That could be the issue then to why people are not just clicking the listing itself. So those are the two biggest things that would affect you getting a lot of views but no visits. And the final bonus, that's having a lot of visits but no conversion. So conversion rate is really low. What I always refer to here is, since I learned this, is the Alex Hormozi value equation, because this just means that something is bad in the listing itself. Something is not making them want to purchase it when they're actually inside the listing. So when they're in the listing, this is actually what it determines if they buys or not. So the dream outcome is the most important part. Like, is this something that they actually want? This would be your design on top of a blank product, whether it's a sweatshirt or a phone case or whatever. The design is one of the most important variables in the listing. So they have clicked it, they most likely want the design. However, let's say that you have really poor reviews or you have no reviews. This means that their likelihood of actually getting the item itself is really low, which puts them off. They will probably go to a more trusted store instead with lots of reviews. So if you don't have a lot of reviews, the perceived likelihood of achievement is really low. Now, to fix that, in the beginning, since none of us have any reviews in the beginning, I'd use a guarantee. Something that just says if something happens to the item, or if there's any issues with that, or if the customer isn't happy for any reason, we'll make sure to give the customer a refund or a replacement. This puts a lot of risk from the customer and puts it back on us, the sellers. This increases this part. Both of these, the dream outcome and the perceived likelihood of achievement, we want to maximize this as much as possible. So we might want to make this a positive numbers basically as much as possible. And these parts are the ones that we want to decrease as much as possible. So the other thing is the time delay. This is something that's really easy that I myself actually overlooked previously. But when I fixed it, it fixed my sales issues that I had during a Q4. So if it says that it's going to arrive in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, for instance, then the likelihood of them actually purchasing is really low. What I do is that when we have some sales at this point, since we should have some sales at this point, if we have a minimum of 10 sales, then we basically can see, okay, they ordered it on this date, it arrived on this date. What's the time interval between these two dates? Okay, it was, let's just for the heck of it, just say that it was 10 days. Okay, and then we look at the other part on the other sale. Since we have 10 sales in total. Okay, this one also arrived in 10 days. If most of them arrived basically in a time frame of 10 days, then I use those shipping times in my listing to make sure that the time delay is lowered as much as possible. So still be accurate to what we're actually providing them with. It's really important that it's accurate to what we're actually providing to the customer. depending on which print provider we choose. So I'd highly recommend taking an average of the 10 sales that we now have at this point, and then using that as our production and our shipping times. So yeah, I just want to make sure that it's accurate to what we're actually selling and not longer than we're actually selling, but it should be as low as possible. And the last part of this is the effort and sacrifice. In this part, that's basically the price. Now, to fix this initially, since we don't have any reviews and we're just starting out, what we gotta do here is that we gotta just give more and more so we can grow faster. We should never go in the red. We should basically use a break-even pricing tactic, which is what I used and I talked a lot about it previously. I'll link that video here as well, so you can watch that specifically. But that's basically having a $2 to $4 margin on our product, so we can cover any possible ad costs if we want to take the faster route to selling, or any issues basically that could have been made. So we want to use as low of a price as possible in the beginning so we can just get some momentum into our shop. But everything about it, say overall, it's about rank. So once we have about 10 to 15 sales, I'd still recommend bumping it up to 30 to 40% gross margin. Because once we have some sales, we might have some reviews as well within that specific listing. And then we can actually get some profits going as well, because I still feel that the most important part about this business is still to be profitable and not just live in some kind of dream that this is going to just happen someday. We're still got to have a profitable gross margin and make a profitable net margin. That's, in my opinion, the most important thing. Once we have 10 to 15 sales or a 50% Everbee score, I'd recommend just bumping it up to profit pricing, which is a gross margin of 30 to 40%. All right, so if you watched this far, I salute you for sticking to the end. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, as that helps to grow my little channel a lot. And if there's anything that you'd like to see me talk about next, just mention that as well in the comments and I'll do my best to help. I'll see you in the next one.